Welcome to the Leslie Hawkins podcast. Each week, my guest and I discuss one pivotal moment in their life, what they learned from it, and their words of wisdom. For a long time, our guest's identity was tied to one thing: performance in sport. Then a shoulder injury changed everything. What followed wasn't just physical pain, but the mental and emotional toll of losing the role that defined who she was. She struggled to find new ways to contribute to her team, while quietly battling negative self-talk and a growing sense of isolation that lasted years. On the outside, she wore the mask so many of us recognize. I have to be happy because that's what people expect of me. On the inside, however, it was a very different story. The turning point came when she finally opened up to friends and family, allowing their words of encouragement to challenge the voice in her own head. Slowly, her inner dialogue began to change. Today, she's found purpose in coaching female youth sports, not just teaching skills, but building a philosophy rooted in work ethic, accountability, being a great teammate, and becoming a good human. This is a conversation about identity, honesty, and what can emerge when we stop pretending we're fine and start rebuilding from the inside out by letting the outside in. Hi, and welcome back to the Leslie Hawkins podcast. I am so incredibly grateful that you are here with us today. Today, I would like to introduce our guest, Carli Yim. So Carli is an account executive at Apple. She is also the coach at Toronto Metropolitan University for the women's volleyball team, and she's an author of a children's book called My Fluffy Bunny. So welcome. So glad that you're here.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Carli, you and I met online. Sounds like a dating app, doesn't it? But we met actually through LinkedIn, where you sent me a message asking about a role that was open at Adidas Golf. And from that, it sort of spurred this relationship, which has been amazing. And when I left corporate a year ago, you were one of my first in-person coffee chats. And the insights you shared with me when I asked the question of like, okay, so what do I do next? What's my next big move? You were so helpful. You asked a bunch of questions and you gave me so many good tidbits of things to consider that I truly appreciated it. So you have been very, very helpful for me. And I appreciate
I didn't know that. Thanks.
Yeah, no,
I'm happy
absolutely.
I can help.
Absolutely. So I truly appreciate your insights. And I'm very glad that you're here with us today and to have this conversation. So this podcast is all anchored on one question, which is, what is one pivotal moment in your life? And it is quite universal of a question. And we've found that some people during a pivot, and while we all have multiples, that there always seems to be one key moment in people's life that they really recognize as being truly pivotal. But there can be this sense of, in the midst of the pivot, I'm the only person that's going through this. Nobody understands what this is like. Mm-hmm. And yet when we start sharing our stories, when we start talking about it, we find out there's entire communities out there and that there's tons of people that in actual fact may not have been on your exact journey, but actually do and can appreciate what you're going through. And so that's what this podcast is for, an opportunity for people to share their stories so that the audience can not only learn from their stories, but also give them a sense of, oh, okay, there's other people that have gone through this. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you, what is one pivotal moment in your life, Carli?
And I think it's such a tough one to think about because when you think about the life you've lived, there's so many moments and things that happen in your life mm-hmm. that create or cause you to pivot, figuratively and literally. Mm-hmm. And I think the one that sticks out the most to me when you asked me that question, and something that still has a continued ripple effect, especially now that I'm coaching volleyball as an
Yes.
assistant coach at TMU or even with a rep team at Leaside, is one that I learned a very tough lesson from. And
Okay.
that was when I was playing at Ryerson. So I was on the women's volleyball team at Ryerson, now TMU. In my third year, I finally felt happy around where I was physically, what the strength that I felt. And in our home opener against U of T, I had a shoulder injury when I was blocking. And I went up for a block, and their outside hitter hit a ball flush into my right hand as I was extending, and it just jerked my shoulder back. And at that time, I didn't think it was anything. I thought, it's just a little sore. I just whip it around a little bit, just give it the old slap and it's fine. And after that match, it got worse. And I tried to show up to practice. I couldn't do anything. Passing hurt, lifting my arm hurt. And honestly, I didn't know how to deal with that injury. And I know it seems like a very small thing. Athletes get injured. We get injured. We figure it out. We go to our athletic therapists. But I think what was so different for me in that moment was I had no idea what to do. I had never experienced an injury that caused me to not be able to play.
Right.
Or where I had sustained pain from or discomfort. So I was navigating something that I had never known. And because I was navigating something I had never known, it had a lot of domino effects in terms of how I felt emotionally, where that really took me. My mental health was not great in that, third year and even my fourth year of university. And it really had some lasting impacts even there on after for the rest of my life, because for context, I grew up in a single parent family in the inner city, downtown Toronto. And so resources were not something I had. Athletic therapists was not something I had.
No.
And also sport was something that I anchored into as an outlet.
Right.
If I go play sports, I can be out here with people. I don't have to go home, And so it was such a big part of my identity that the moment I couldn't play, it sort of rocked me. And I didn't know, or I couldn't even have fathomed how much it would rock me by that happening. And that year I was also, our coach had said, okay, you can be the captain. So, you go take the tosses. And I find the word captain very funny now that I've sort of gone through that, and that it is just a title, and it's everything more about how and what you do with that title.
Yes.
Less so being named it. But that incident really changed and shaped how I approach and think of, leadership and coaching. And it has impacted my coaching style tremendously, because when I was hurt and when I was quote unquote captain, I was terrible in that I didn't know how to take care of the injury. And in that moment, I also didn't know how to be a good teammate.
Right.
Because everything about who I was let me go out there and just try and prove that I can do it. And let me work really hard and show you that I'm working really hard to hopefully maybe inspire other teammates or get them going. But if I can't do that, what do I do? Like, I really didn't know. I had no idea. And it really taught me that there's so many other ways of contributing, especially when you're on a team. Outside of just your performance. I could go out there and get, record level of kill, or like a personal best of kills or digs or whatever it is. But it doesn't matter if at the end of the day, you're not depositing into your team in a way that lifts everybody else up around you.
Okay.
And I didn't do that.
Right.
I was so caught up in my own head about my injury and what am I going to do? And I wasn't there for my teammates in the best way. I would watch a match and see somebody else there playing in my spot and feel as though I should be out there, even though I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really changed me as a
Yes.
person, I think. And I realized I identified a couple of things. One, my identity was too heavily tied into my performance in
Right.
sport.
Yes.
Two, I never had to stop and pause and think about all the other ways I could help my teammates.
Okay.
And three, I need to learn how to take care of my body now
Right.
that I have access to better
Yeah.
resourcing.
Right.
Because that's something that I never had before.
Mm-hmm. And so when you had that injury and you were the captain of the team, was the title of captain tied to how you showed up every day, your consistency, or was it tied to your play? Or was there something that maybe your coach recognized in you that maybe at that point you didn't know about your leadership?
You know, that's a great question. And I would actually love to ask him that.
Let's phone a friend.
Yeah. Because I think there was also a little bit of imposter syndrome being named captain.
Okay.
Because I didn't like being the one to dictate what people had to do. Yeah. So being named captain, I felt like, am I supposed to do that now? Am I supposed to be the one to say, no, you can't miss practice?
Right.
When everything that I would like to do or wanted to do was just play.
Right.
So being named captain to me at the time was like, okay, I take the toss at the beginning of the match.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the floor captain. So if I need to address the ref, I can do that.
Yes.
But everything else that came with it, whatever he saw in me to name that, it could have been just being a more senior player on the team, to be honest. But I didn't really know what that really meant. Right. Aside from, I guess in my head when I was younger, was the captain's always, supposed to perform for the team. And if you're not performing, you're not doing it for the team.
Right. Right.
So
okay.
That's where a lot of the spiraling came.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
so you found yourself spiraling. How did you get out of it? Was there other people that helped you? What was the reaction of your teammates or your coach?
Yeah, it's funny because I actually haven't widely shared some of my experience going through that period of time. And I'd say that period of time lasted probably 4 or 5 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Even thereon after.
Yes.
Obviously there was the injury, but there's also the personal life of being in a relationship. And I found that I very much isolated myself. And it took me a really, really long time to get out of that.
Okay.
But I've always been a person that is either emceeing or in front of a crowd trying to make people laugh.
Yes.
So I also had that on.
Okay.
So although I was very social, I had this mask of I have to be happy because that's what people expect of me.
Yes. So true.
Or I need to be well-spoken at an event, or I need to present myself in a certain way because that's what's expected of me. And this was before, mental health and the whole conversation about the help that you need and the conversations that you should be having with your friends was widely accepted, I guess you could say. And it was rough. I isolated myself. Most of the conversations I was having was with myself internally.
Okay.
And so it became a conversation of, I'm not good enough. I'm not a leader. Why would anybody come to me for advice on the team if they need it? How could I possibly help? So that was a rough one for sure.
And so you're here
Yeah.
and I know you're thriving. So how, through that 5-year period, how did you get beyond that? Because yes, with mental health, there is a ton of stigma that despite all the work that's being done, I think we're getting better at it, but there's still a stigma. So how did you get yourself out of that spiral?
Yeah, I'd say it was tough. And it really took a lot of, I'd say, strength to have conversations with friends and family that
Okay.
I guess understood or listened without judgment. And the response I always get is, I had no idea.
Right.
And I'm like, man, I need to go into acting or something because
Hollywood,
you
here
had
she
no
comes.
idea that I was
Yep.
struggling like that. But again, that was what I tried to do. I tried to hide it. I tried to not make that other people's burden.
Yeah.
And I realized that I can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
And it was just causing burnout. It was just causing me to not achieve to the fullest in terms of all my different extracurriculars, whether it be coaching, whether it be playing.
Okay.
I couldn't be at 100%. In that day, I probably was giving 100%, but that 100% was really 20%
Yes.
of my overall
Exactly.
ability.
Right.
So it was a lot of talking to friends, honestly, about how I was feeling. It took a lot of tears and days in bed,
Right.
as I'm sure anybody going through a tough time recognizes. And it took a sense of believing what people told me.
Right. Which is hard.
So hard.
So hard.
People tell you things all the time. They'll say, no, like, you're great. You're awesome.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Right.
And because all those conversations you're having are internally with yourself, you can tell yourself 10,000 times that you're not good enough. And one person telling you that you're good enough doesn't change it.
Doesn't change it.
In that moment.
Right.
And I think it's really hard for people who are trying to assist or help friends or support friends and family that are going through something tough, because in that moment, you want to pour out all your love. You want to show them that you're supporting them and that they're loved and they're cared for. But it's innately that internal belief that they need to have.
Correct.
Or figure out how to have. And for me, I think coaching was a big part of that.
Okay.
Because despite me feeling like I wasn't good enough in multiple areas, I loved stepping into a gym with younger female athletes going, I want you to be better than me.
Right.
I don't want you to feel the way I feel.
Okay.
So it's how do I create an environment where you feel awesome, that you feel empowered.
Right.
And at the time, they're so young. I started coaching a U14 team.
Okay. So that means that they were 15 or
they're
13? 13. Okay.
Going on 14.
Always get the numbering wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. 13. Okay.
And you walk into the gym and these kids are happy. They're happy to be there, happy to play volleyball. And everything that I had gone through with the injury and continue, or even at that time, probably still dealing with,
Yes.
helped me to, I guess, develop this thought and framework about how I'm going to coach.
Right.
And it wasn't about the skill.
Okay.
And I bet a lot of people who listen to this are going to be like, what?
What? Yeah, but that's what you do.
Yeah.
Sort of.
and for me, it was, yes, I can kind of teach skill based on my experience and learning from other coaches and best practices. But in my head, I wanted to coach because I wanted the girls to feel better than I felt. And it's been 10 years now of coaching club.
Yes.
And then I decided to reach out to my old coach at TMU.
Yes.
Who coached me in his first year and is still the coach, Dustin Reed. And I just wanted to help out.
Right.
Because I realized how much it filled my cup.
Okay.
To just be around young women who want to play sports, who are juggling everything from their emotions to school to performance, and how I can, I guess, take it back 15 years,
Right.
how I couldn't be a good teammate then. How can I be a good teammate now, but as a coach?
But as a coach. Okay.
And it's kind of, writing that path a little bit for me.
Okay.
And I love it.
You love it.
I love it.
And so when you show up as a assistant coach or coach for varsity, or league, is that what you called it? You have, I think the expectations are the coach steps on and shows you how to block, how to dig, how to serve, how to do all of the functions of volleyball or whatever sport it is. But that's not your area that you've really built frameworks around. It's all about developing the human first and skills second. Would that be accurate?
Yeah. Like I will say, I'm definitely not ignoring the skill part of volleyball altogether.
No.
And I've had some great coaches in my career that have taught me a lot. So I coach how I was coached.
Yes.
In many ways when it comes to skill. But I say this to my parents of the club team I coach all the time. At the beginning of the season, without fail, I will want to meet with all the parents and explain my philosophy around coaching. And I'll do this even at the tryouts.
Okay.
Because granted, some parents want their kid to be on a winning team and they want to practice 4 times a week and that's their focus. And I respect that. So I want to lay the foundation of what you're going to get with me if your daughter is on my team. And so much of it is rooted in the fact that I care about how your daughter is going to grow up as a young woman. And everything to me is developing work ethic, developing the skill of being able to take accountability. What does it mean to be a good teammate? How do they become great people?
Yes.
And that to me is what is most important. And I've had the pleasure and benefit of being able to stay with the team for about 6 or 7 years and watch them grow from, U12 when they're 11
Yes.
through to U18 and them graduating and going off to university.
Yes.
And I graduated that team last year.
Oh.
And when you have the same girls on your team, you see a lot of ebbs and flows of who they are.
Absolutely.
The struggles that they go through, navigating going into starting high school,
right,
to now starting university. And I count myself as lucky having a great parent group around, even with my current team now, and them being supportive of, I guess, the framework that I have around what my focuses are.
Okay.
I want your daughters to be great people.
Right.
I want them to grow up into, into young women who respect each other, that feel confident in their own ability to understand that they play sport not to just win, but they play sport to, develop that ability to be a good teammate and to work really hard to get them to be the best that they can be. Right. Not to compare with the girl that you see playing on the other court.
Yes.
But if you just focus, and I tell my girls, every single time we talk about practice and tournaments, I don't care about the standings. I don't care about the rankings. I care about whether or not we are putting our best foot forward to be the best athletes we can be. Because the winning will come. If you do that, the winning will come.
Right. That's amazing. And so it must have been really interesting if you had this team for 6-7 years to then graduate them, watch them go to university. It'd be like a mother seeing their children leave the
They
nest.
definitely have a big, like, special place in my heart for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be tough. I would be a puddle.
Yeah. I was.
Yes.
Yeah. At our last nationals tournament, I think I tried to hold it together. And then when I got in the car, I was like, ugh, they're leaving me. So
Exactly. But now you have a different group
yeah.
of athletes with you, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And so this leadership philosophy that you're bringing to volleyball, I'm sure you're also bringing into your corporate work, into your personal life. And how does that sort of manifest itself in those areas as well?
Yeah. I'd say it's different and difficult because I played volleyball for so long. I played varsity volleyball. I've had great coaches. I've learned a lot throughout the way. And sometimes in a corporate setting or even in your personal life, it's different than like stepping on a court and just playing.
Right.
Or coaching kids that have that drive to go and be better and be a better athlete. And I'd say even as a coach now, although I have this leadership framework, I still have imposter syndrome because sometimes I don't focus on the skills. And I know there's amazing coaches out there that know so much more and are probably better at teaching skills or certain skills than I am for sure. So I have this level of imposter syndrome around who am I coaching a team that is, top 5 in the country or, top team in Ontario. Like, who am I to do that? Like, how did I even get here? And
true imposter syndrome. Well done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Pat on the back for me for that one. But I find myself constantly checking myself more so than ever now. And especially when it comes to work. I think when I applied and got the job at Apple, I was very not surprised because I couldn't do the job. It's more that it's a huge company.
Yeah.
Like if you asked 5-year-old, 7-year-old Carli what she thought she'd be doing when she was an adult, the options were limited.
Right.
Because of, where you grow up, how people see you, perception. And every time now, I have to check myself when I have those thoughts.
Right.
Around, do I deserve to be here? Do I deserve to have the role I have? Am I comfortable speaking up and giving an opinion at work? And some who hear this might say, no, she definitely gives her opinion at work.
I hope so.
But it's all because there's this gut feeling of if I don't do this or be true to the fact that, I have a voice and I can use it.
Yes.
And I'm not going to shy away.
No.
I have something to share and I'm going to share it.
Right.
I also think, and the girls that I coach never really know how much impact that they have on me, but I think about if they grow up and enter the corporate world or get a job, how would I want them to be? Like, if I continue to coach them through life, like, what would I tell them? And so for me, it's kind of following my own advice or taking my own advice of if I want them to be confident, it's something that I also have to learn and do myself. I need to be able to speak up.
Right.
I need to be able to believe that I have, earned and deserved the things that I have in my life. And I try and keep that perspective a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's one thing to give advice when you're a coach on a volleyball team, but then to actually lean in and use your own advice every day is also very different.
So different.
It's so different, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to give advice.
100%.
Right?
I could Google something, print something out and be like, this is what you need to do.
This is what you need. Exactly.
Yeah.
But then you actually need to live it every day. But as your volleyball teams have been more and more successful, I can't help but think back to sort of one of my leadership philosophies, which is if you take care of people and if they feel seen and heard and truly, truly feel like they belong, then business will thrive. Business isn't going to thrive if the people aren't taken care of. And so you do that. You do that with your team with all the coaching. And so it's not surprising for me, at least from the outside looking in, that your team would thrive, that they would be top 5 in the country because you're creating an environment for them to be themselves, to really matter, see that they matter, and to improve them as humans, which is amazing.
The girls never know how much, I guess, mind share they have. Because I don't want them thinking that they're all I think about. But but I think about it a lot. Like how I, muster up the courage to, whether it's follow a dream that I have or set a goal that I have or accomplish things that I want to accomplish. I think, and in a way it's kind of maybe like having a little sister. And I have the benefit of always having like 10 to 12 little sisters
exactly.
On a team. But you go, what would I want my little sister to do in this situation? And I think about that so often and think about how if I want them to be a certain way or I want them to thrive as they grow up, I got to take my own advice.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So let me ask you about My Fluffy Bunny, which is your children's book.
Yeah.
Which is just wonderful. I think one of the things I've learned about you is there's a side of you that I didn't know existed, which is that you're immensely creative. And so I would love to know where the idea came from. And once again, have you been talking about your framework and your philosophy, it's all about sort of taking your own advice and pushing yourself into different areas. So was that part of it?
Well, I definitely have a lot of creative thoughts all the time.
Okay.
As a person, fundamentally, that's how my brain works.
Good.
But with My Fluffy Bunny, when I was in university in the 4th year in radio and television at Ryerson, you had to do a practicum.
Okay.
And you're brainstorming things that you want to do. And I thought of this title called My Fluffy Bunny. And I want to do maybe an animated series. It didn't pan out, but the title of My Fluffy Bunny stuck with me for a very long time.
Okay.
And at that point, I had been babysitting a couple kids. So at bedtime, I would make up stories around My Fluffy Bunny.
Oh, good.
Call it testing the market.
Yes.
And so I would make up these stories around My Fluffy Bunny and I would tell it and I would sort of refine the story. And at one point, one of the mothers came to me and asked, "What is this My Fluffy Bunny?" Because her daughter had brought it up.
Oh, so good.
So then I thought, hey, I might actually have something here that kids like and enjoy. And for me, having that done as a actual physical book was so important.
Right.
Because let me rewind back to how I was in university. I was always a yes person. I would say yes to 20 different things.
Right.
And I also had to learn how to follow through on 20 different things if I say yes to them. So sometimes, and some of my friends will know this, I'd be either flaky or I just couldn't hold up all the balls I was trying to juggle.
Right.
So things would fall through the cracks. So this for me was almost a proof point to myself that I can see something through.
Right.
That I had this idea. I wanted it to create positive impact in the community. So part of the proceeds continue to go and support the new mom project.
Okay. That's amazing.
That helps moms in need. And I thought, it's not to make money at all. I know nothing about publishing whatsoever. So I'm going to self-publish. And I just want something done.
Right.
And I want to have a physical copy in my hand to say, wow, I created this. I did this.
Right.
not knowing anything. And if I can do that,
Right.
anybody can do that. and anybody can think about that, about the fact that I walked in there not knowing anything, or walked into publishing without knowing anything. And I have a physical copy that all these kids get to read.
Exactly.
If they have the book, and it makes me so happy, and it makes me happy that I was able to do that with a cause tied to it as well.
Yes.
And so, yeah.
That's great. Well, then there's no imposter syndrome. You were an author, you're a published author. And so there is a big pat on the back for that one.
Yeah, I get really excited whenever a kid can recite the book.
Yes.
And I think to myself, I did that.
I did that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's kind of like stepping into that power of, yeah, I can finish that project.
Right.
And so for me, because I'm very creative, I have a bunch of other ideas or stories or books. And
we're waiting.
Yeah. So, so I am excited because I do have like another project that I'm working on, and I'm kickstarting this year.
Okay, good.
So I'm really excited for that one.
Okay. Excellent. Well, as you did with the teams and the individuals that you coach, you've left a legacy with them, and you've made sure that you've given them the best opportunities they can through your coaching for just being a better human. And now you've got kids that are reading your book. Yeah. And so I think
not
it's
volleyball
amazing.
related, but
not volleyball related, but doesn't, exactly. It doesn't always have to be.
Yeah.
That's so good. So throughout this journey that you were on of the injury and sort of finding your footing, quite frankly, what did you learn about? You learned a lot about yourself, but what did you learn about your larger community and people around you?
First and foremost, I realized how many people loved and cared about me.
Yes.
And that's what helped me navigate through that really tough time, for sure. And I also realized how much, going through that myself, how much others are going through.
Right.
All the time. And I think because I knew I had this happy mask on a lot, it made me then question those around me.
Right.
About, are you okay? Are you really okay? And I think when you dive into that, you realize that everybody's dealing with something, whether it's from your perspective, small or big. In their world at that time, it could be very big.
Right.
Like mine's a shoulder injury that caused that. And by all accounts, people would be like, oh, like go to physio, get it back. Like, don't sulk about it. Why are you so upset about it? But for me, in my world, it was rattling.
Yes.
So I realized, one, everybody's dealing with something. And it could not be more true around, when you encounter somebody that might not be the nicest or grouchy in that moment, everybody's dealing with something.
Yes.
So just having that perspective, I think was really helpful and important too. Because I could also be a firecracker emotionally sometimes. And then I also realized how much community is important.
Yes.
How much it's important to lean into the community. Like, I think about it as, if you're stranded in a forest with 5 different people and everybody goes out and brings something back, maybe you can survive in the forest with the 5 people.
Right. Yes, exactly.
So I thought about, everything I've learned stepping out of my community, being an inner city kid. How can I come back and bring something back? Okay. Whether it's resourcing, whether it's just the thought of, look at all these things I've been able to get myself involved in. Like, you can also do that. Or, learning from other people in the community. There's so much knowledge and experience around me, I find, that it makes me realize that I definitely don't know everything.
Right.
And the best way for me anyway is in building relationships is learning from a coach that's better than me, learning from an athlete that's helping me see a perspective that
Right.
I might have not seen or thought about.
Mm-hmm.
So a community I think is very powerful, and having a community is very powerful. And especially if you're struggling like I was, having people around that were willing to, drop what they're doing, come and sit and talk with me at a park for 3 hours, or just check in the mornings to be like, hey, how are you feeling today? Or call me in the morning on the drive to work. It took so many people doing that consistently
Yes.
to make myself believe that I was all those things.
Yes.
And I know 100% I could not have gotten through any of that without the people around me and the community that I have. And I am so thankful for that.
That's so great. That's so good. And so, what would be your final words of wisdom from everything you've learned for those listening?
Oh, sometimes I don't know what I need words of wisdom most times. But I think ultimately, I go by this thought of deposits and withdrawals with my team too.
Okay.
Around every small little deposit that you make in life, in practice, means that there's more to withdraw from later on. So, and I anchor this back to my injury. The smallest exercise or smallest amount of time that I spent rehabbing every day could have amounted to a better and stronger shoulder. I could have been back faster. I could not be dealing with tendonitis in my shoulder now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But sometimes we don't see the impact. But all the small deposits you make into yourself, into your relationships, into your friendships, all of it amounts to something greater. And I do that with my girls now as an exercise. I started last year, and I don't recall where I saw this or how I came up with it. It may have been kind of random, but I have a plastic water bottle
Okay.
at home that has a name of each athlete. And at the beginning of the season, I tell them, you have to give me a toothpick every practice and every workout. And they have no idea why. They think I'm building some sort of toothpick home or an art project. But it's because every toothpick to me represents their deposit. And it's on them to have the accountability to remember that, to remember to give me that toothpick. I will not ask. I will just collect.
Okay.
And then when I go home, I put them in all their water bottles.
Amazing.
And then at the end of the season, we give them, we did it last year too, and we gave them their water bottles at the end, and they could see how much their water bottle was filled with toothpicks, something seemingly so small. And so I think it's all the deposits that you're going to make into yourself and to those around you. And you might think it's the smallest thing.
Yeah.
Saying hi, how are you? Making eye contact with somebody, smallest thing. But when you do that consistently to somebody who might feel really small, that could be really big. Because I know that when I'm feeling down and somebody does that to me, it takes 2 minutes to talk to me.
Yes.
It means the world to me in that moment. And it could be the highlight of my day, but it could be a passing moment in theirs.
Right.
So for me, it's just considering how, every day we deposit into our lives. Because when we need it, we're going to need to make a withdrawal.
Right.
At some point. Whether it's strength.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's incredible insights. I love that. I literally can see a shelf with a bunch of water bottles filled with toothpicks.
Yeah, it definitely creates clutter in my house, but it's okay.
That's so good though. It's such a great visual. I love it. Yeah. Well, your team and those around you are fortunate that you are here and that you have such presence about you. And I as I'm sure you're an incredible coach, I would love you to be my leader. That would have been amazing. Although volleyball is not really my calling in life.
We can work on it.
We can work on it. Exactly. But thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing your framework, your learning, and just truly being authentically you. I'm forever grateful that you sent me that LinkedIn message 4 years ago. And I'm grateful for the insights you bring to me and for the impact that you're having on so many young women, because it matters. And now also young children with My Fluffy Bunny.
Thanks so much for having me. And thank
great.
you for replying to that LinkedIn message, because that was awesome.
That's so good. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you for joining me today. I love Carli's analogy of depositing something so small like a toothpick into a water bottle, so when you need it, you have something to withdraw. She is so humble in her approach, and yet she is a top-tier coach who is having such a great impact on the next generation of female leaders. If this story resonated with you, please share it with someone you care about, and be sure to subscribe so you can continue to hear more pivotal stories involving one question, one turning point, one powerful story. I'll see you next week with another guest on the Leslie Hawkins podcast.